شبرا للذل ستمور الأرض وتحرقهم في الأرض براكين تغلي في الأرض براكين تغلي سنخوض معاركنا معهم وسنمضي جموعا نردعهم ونعيد الحق.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're listening to Radio Seerah 1575 AM and on radioseerah.com and through the various apps on Android and Google. You're listening to Brother Riaz Jasset on the Wednesday 6 o'clock show, the Lifestyle and Health and Wellness show. So alhamdulillah, it's another Wednesday. The time goes so fast. Alhamdulillah, today we've got a special guest. I shall introduce him in a few moments, but basically this is something I just want to talk about initially. It's regarding education and how we as a Muslim community can sometimes be in a situation where we find our children aren't being given the best opportunities and in terms of progression through towards getting the higher profile managerial jobs. There are places where you can go to learn more about the science, technology, engineering and maths courses, so-called STEM courses. There's a website called hayyanaeducation.com. I'm just pointing this out as a starter, but they deal specifically for children aged between 5 and 15. That's Hayyan Education, Hayyan. The company is based online, but you can actually access them. They've got an open day on October the 2nd at Churchgate, the retreat. Now their job is to nurture children's creativity and problem-solving skills and enhance the descriptive, critical and creative writing, and to link between the creation and the creator. But what happens after the age of 15? What support is there for Muslim children, individuals, and how are we, as a community, assisting them? Now, our children are losing their guidance, and as our Prophet ﷺ said many a time, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعَهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The best of the people are the ones who are best to the people themselves. Now, we need investment in our Muslim community, and it's our right and obligation to do this. And we've got our Amir from the Ihsan project. I'd like to introduce Brother Abid. Now, Brother Abid has extensive experience in youth, charity and community work. He's currently the manager of the UK projects at Human Appeal UK, and is the current Amir of the Ihsan project team. He's a graduate from De Montfort University in Leicester. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Brother Abid to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Abid.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother?
Very well, thank you. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for having us.
Alhamdulillah, our paths have crossed. I've seen you in many Human Appeal venues, so we have met before, and I'm glad that you're here today. You've taken the invitation to come and talk about the Ihsan project.
That's right, alhamdulillah. Thank you for having us on, and it's a pleasure to be here with you, and of course, pleasure to have cross paths with you again, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, that's good. So, the Ihsan project, how did it come about? Why did you feel there was a need for this particular project?
The Ihsan project is a relatively new idea, a relatively new project that started last year. So what we find through some of the studies that I've done on the Muslim community is a disproportionately high unemployment rate, and a Muslim community, particularly the Bengali communities, the Pakistani communities, having disproportionately high unemployment rates, and young Muslims, through interactions with them, through the youth work that we are involved in, we typically find young Muslims feeling at times lost, with no real direction, not really knowing what they're aiming for, and on the back of that, on the back of those concerns, some brothers last year decided it was time to take action, it was time to do something about that, and the Ihsan project was born out of that concern. and the idea was to try and support young Muslims, give them or guide them to some extent in terms of giving them some direction, and also help them in their career paths in the long run, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, that's a very noble cause for you guys to get involved in. And obviously this particular project, the Ihsan project, is something which you guys have decided to do without recourse to any funding. It's all totally voluntary, I assume?
Yeah, so it started off and it continues to be a completely volunteer-led organization project, with the sole intention of supporting Muslims, as I said, giving them some guidance, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. And the team that's behind the Ihsan project, I've been told that you're the Amir, but I've looked on the website as well. Alhamdulillah, I think there's quite a few individuals there, brothers and sisters, all accessible?
Yeah, so we have a fantastic group of brothers and a couple of sisters, mashallah, from diverse backgrounds in terms of education, in terms of their careers themselves. We have chemical engineers, a brother who specializes in IT, a sister who works as a teacher. So there are diverse backgrounds there, with the intention, of course, to be able to deal or to liaise with youth who want to go into different fields and different career paths, inshallah.
Inshallah. And you are taking calls, are you, today for individuals who may want some limited practical advice? I understand you do sessions where you can actually have proper 20-minute sessions with individuals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us, we want as many young Muslims as possible to make use of our services. We talk about the services being free, so the services are very easily accessible through our website, theihsanproject.com. Anyone who Googles the Ihsan Project will come across the website and they can get in touch with us. But as I mentioned, the aim is to try and get as many young Muslims as possible involved, seeking the services that we have to offer. Ultimately, as I mentioned, we have brothers and sisters with a wealth of experience in different career paths, different fields, and we want young Muslims to make use of that. And you mentioned coaching. So coaching is, of course, one of the services that we have. We run events, and we have done in the past as well, where we go through some of the basic questions pertaining to employability skills, interview skills, and so on. And we want to be able to support young Muslims with those employability skills, and also support young Muslims further, as you mentioned, through mentoring, which is the 20-minute sessions that you mentioned.
Alhamdulillah, that's good. And we're taking calls if any individuals want some limited advice today on Leicester 3848786, or just want to find out a little bit more about the Ihsan project. And this is open to all Muslims, everyone over the age of 16, even professionals who wish to progress further in their career path. Is that correct?
Yeah, anyone really. The target audience at the start was 16 to 25 or 30, but then we found Muslims who are a little bit older who still wanted some help in terms of support with CVs and personal statements and so on. And we are open generally to all Muslims who seek our advice and our services. And we're happy to help anyone.
Alhamdulillah. And we're accepting texts and WhatsApps as well on the number 07305 828 531. That's 07305 828 531. And the studio call-in number is Leicester 3848 786. Inshallah, in a few moments we're going to get Brother Imran and Sister Suhoor also to dial in, and they're also from the Ihsan project in a couple of minutes. So we're going to get some further input from them as well. Is that right, Brother Abid?
It is right, yes. So Brother Imran and Sister Suhoor are both part of the Ihsan project. They are valuable members of the project itself. Brother Imran is, in fact, one of the co-founders of the project. And they've been supporting young Muslims as and when we've had requests come through. They've led on some of the events that we do. And just to give the listeners an idea of what we've done in the past, young Muslims, we've had young brothers and sisters who've been in touch with us, asking us for support with their CV, with their personal statements. We've had, of course, as I mentioned, the coaching programs, which have gone through a variety of topics pertaining to employability skills. And also, I think one of the key things that I haven't mentioned yet, and one of the key things that we like to focus on is actually the Islamic identity side of things. Because there are many projects out there, many services out there to support people with employability skills. But what we want to touch upon and what we want to focus on as part of our services is the importance of maintaining an Islamic identity whilst chasing that excellence in our career and in our lives.
Alhamdulillah, I think that's a very, very important point. And on that point, Brother Abid, what difficulties do individuals face in the workplace in terms of, not just in terms of progression, but in terms of the identity that one would expect as a Muslim individual?
Where do we start? I mean, we've had so many queries and so many issues that have come through from the clients, if you want to call them that, who've reached out to us. Islamophobia is definitely an issue. The sisters who wear the hijab, of course, feel a little bit uncomfortable with how they're addressed at times. We've had people who don't know. So we had a very interesting email not so long back from someone who wanted to know how they could get in touch with their management and ask them to provide them with a prayer space. And then we gave some guidelines around that. We've had some genuine insecurities, and unfortunately a lot of Muslims who, particularly university students who are going into jobs, who apply to jobs, there are some insecurities with regards to, do I have time to pray salah? As a sister who wears a hijab, how am I going to be treated? As a brother with a beard, how am I going to be perceived? And so on. So we try to instill in them a sort of confidence to progress, to chase excellence, regardless of the way they look. Because as Muslims, we are Muslims who chase excellence in every aspect of our life.
Correct.
And even in our workplaces, regardless of how we look, we are comfortable as Muslims, we are confident as young Muslims, of course, and we want to chase excellence regardless, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, that's good. We're going to invite either Brother Imran or Sister Suhoor to dial in a moment, in 1 minute. So if they're happy to dial in, if they're listening in, they're part of the Ihsan project. So we look forward to a call from you, and you'll be live on air on Radio Seerah. As I said, any questions, please don't hesitate to text or WhatsApp on 07305 828 531. That's 07305 828 531. The studio call-in number again is Leicester 0116 if you're dialing outside of Leicester, 3848 786. And if you hear any background noise, apologies for that. And we've got a little young individual guest with us, and he's fairly well behaved, inshallah. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Right, we have a caller. May I just take this call? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You're listening to Radio Seerah. You're live on air. Who's this, please? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? No, unfortunately that call didn't connect for some reason. Please do call back in, caller, and inshallah we'll try and connect you again. Anyway, we were talking about progression, and it's very important as Muslims. The level of Islamophobia you mentioned, you touched on, is something which I wasn't aware of in terms of a major criterion, but it seems to be an issue nowadays more so than not.
Unfortunately, yes.
I'll just take this call straight away, David. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello? Can't get the caller to call in for some reason. Unusual, okay. We're definitely online, the phone is there, it doesn't seem to connect for some reason. Please try again, brother or sister. No, the phone is on, the phone lines are on, they're all working. Unusual. Oh, he's having some technical issues here for some reason. Let's see if we can get the caller back in. Right, we were talking about Islamophobia, and obviously it's a concern under the current situation. A lot of individuals feel that they're being discriminated in the workplace, and it's something which we need to sort of understand that it's inevitable because of media portrayal, but we have to be strong as individuals, and we have to understand what's right in terms of how we behave and act in the workplace.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are so many aspects to this. We found studies recently that show people from a Muslim background, or even from black backgrounds, people who have a typically a Muslim name, if you want to say that, or a name that sounds non-British. where people have been rejected just based on their names. And in fact, interestingly enough, someone I know who's a lawyer who was applying for jobs a few years back, applied for many jobs, and some of them he was rejected outright until he reapplied for the same job, changing his name.
Wow.
And he was instantly accepted, which is really, I mean, I want to say bizarre, but which is really sad to know that people, there are companies out there who reject people. And then when he went in for the interview, he told them that this was his alias. But the fact that that still happens, and you have employers who are rejecting people just based on their name, tells you that there are obstacles to Muslims progressing, which aren't spoken about in the media, unfortunately. But it's an issue that we have to overcome and we have to deal with.
I think it's important to do that. I remember as a university student, I had the pleasure of meeting the admissions tutor for Nottingham University, and this was many years ago, so it's all water under the bridge. And he mentioned at that time, 30 odd years ago, that there was an issue and they had to have a particular number of a particular surname. I won't mention which surname in the pharmacy course, otherwise the whole course would be with that particular surname.
That's very concerning. Thankfully things are a lot better, of course, but that's not to say there are not issues now. Things are definitely better. I know that many companies are now consciously looking to employ people from ethnic minority backgrounds, which is great, which particularly given, as I mentioned, the unemployment rates within the Bengali communities and the Pakistani communities, which are, as we know, predominantly Muslim communities. So it's good to see the progress that's been made.
I think that's important. And many times you get the negative aspects of how Muslims are overrepresented in prison, for example, or in terms of recently one of the imams sent out a WhatsApp, I don't know if you saw it, the number of drug-related issues that are happening in Tower Hamlets, and they're disproportionately all Muslim. We have to support individuals through all walks of life, be they just in terms of social issues or academic issues. It's important to make sure that we are up there with everybody else in the right way.
I think to balance that, something we don't do enough is focus on the success stories in the Muslim community. Correct. There are many. And people have excelled, brothers and sisters have done a phenomenal job in their respective fields and careers, and we know so many. So when we talk about our mentoring service, we have a portfolio of brothers and sisters who are there to support young Muslims who call through, who want that support. And these are brothers and sisters who have done exceptionally well in their careers. These are academics, these are doctors, engineers, professionals in different fields, teachers and so on, who've done exceptionally well, who are what we talk about in terms of ihsan, who've achieved excellence in their fields, and who are proud of their Muslim identity. They identify as Muslims and they proudly do so.
Exactly. I mean, a quick story. I'm waiting for a phone call, inshallah, from either brother or sister. But a quick story regarding a Syrian brother who came as a young child from Syria 3 years ago, could not speak a word of English.
Oh yes.
I don't know if you heard it on Radio Leicester. I've got it. If you want a copy, I'll give it to you. And alhamdulillah, within 3 years from not speaking a word of English, he got 9 A stars GCSE.
Wow.
And this is the sort of excellent stories we need to promote and say, hang on a minute, look, we are capable with all the best. We need to promote our Muslim ethos as well, and understand that we can be in these top managerial positions as well.
Yeah, definitely. And also I think for the parents who are listening, it's important to know that your children can do exceptionally well. It's about giving them that guidance and giving them some focus and something to aim towards. Because one of the concerns, so when we talk about ihsan and achieving excellence and doing well in whatever people want to do, one of the main things we need to look at is what are people aiming towards and what's their aim in life.
That's it. Alhamdulillah, let's try and Bismillah. Let's see if this connects. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, is that better now?
Yes, it is.
Alhamdulillah, you're speaking to Riaz, you're live on air with you, sir. I'm just going to get Brother Abid to introduce you, and we can have a three-way conversation, inshallah.
Yes, so Brother Imam is, as I mentioned, a crucial member of the Ihsan project. He's one of the co-founders, and he is a chemical engineer, mashallah, who's done exceptionally well in his relatively young career as well. And he's someone who supports us in supporting young Muslims who access our services.
Alhamdulillah. So, Brother Imran, all yours. I mean, just a general start-off point. How did you get into the project, and how do you sort of liaise with the rest of the team and promote the Ihsan project?
Yeah, so as Bilal said, I was one of the co-founders who decided to create this project and help drive it through and put time and effort into it. I think the key driver for us was personal experiences that we had and challenges that we saw when we were attempting to build and forge our own careers. Challenges in terms of deciding right at the beginning, what A-level courses to do, what university courses to choose, and then the impact of the choices we make at A-level and university in terms of what career we essentially go on and forge. And then once you're at the career, all challenges that the lab has talked about already, how do you navigate to create what you can essentially class as a successful career depending on what your success is. So that was essentially the reason why we got involved, put it together, created the team, and alhamdulillah, as the lab has touched on, we've done amazing work over the past year, worked with so many students across a wide range, and worked with actual professionals who already have careers that just want to progress and propel forward, depending on what avenue that they're looking at.
So from what you're saying, Brother Imran, it seems to be that obstacles that you may have had during your studies or the rest of the team have actually highlighted the need for this particular project. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So when I was back at the age of 16, 17, 18, deciding what A-level choices you want to make, it's very difficult, and then going up to the university course at such an age where you can almost class yourself as depending on if you have role models or not, and if you have the level of intel and advice from people that you can look up to, and think to make decisions that have significant ramifications on your career at that such an early age. Indeed, what we attempt to do as the Ihsan project and the whole idea behind it is bridge that gap, provide that advice, provide that intel and information, so someone at the age of 16, 17, 18 can make a clear, informed choice of what they want to do, and then going forward in your career, how you navigate certain situations in the workplace itself.
Alhamdulillah. So what sort of background do these people come from? Is it all of the UK, or do you have any international students ringing you or emailing you?
Well, at the moment we're very much predominantly based in the UK. We did that almost purposely because our network and our knowledge ourselves of the UK system is very strong. As we know, when you're in the US or somewhere in Europe, the academic systems are slightly different and nuanced, and we didn't want to provide advice that potentially wouldn't be as beneficial. Whereas in the UK, we know what the academic system is like, we know what the work environment potentially could be, and our teaching network is in the UK. However, that doesn't say that we're only supplementing the UK. Alhamdulillah, we've got really ambitious plans of where we want to get to, and the whole idea is to help as many people as possible, right? So, alhamdulillah, there's nothing stopping between.
Good, Jazakallah. Anything else you'd like to add on the Ihsan project, or in general, any more advice for parents?
No, again, like I said, please reach out to us. As Abid said, we're a free service. Reach out to us, connect with us, attend our coaching services and coaching events that inshallah will be planned, and Abid could probably provide more information on that.
Inshallah.
We're here with you.
I mean, this is the beauty, brothers and sisters listening out there. The Ihsan project is a free service. It's based mainly of all professionals from different backgrounds, and they're happy to give their time and their energy to promote the growth in the Muslim community through professionalism and through development to take on the higher roles in management. This is your opportunity to progress. I mean, if you're listening as a parent, do encourage your children to go onto the website ihsanproject.co.uk, is it?
It's the ihsanproject.com.
Sorry, my apologies. The ihsanproject.com, IHSAAN, the ihsanproject.com, and touch base, send an email, or was that how you want to
do it? So if you go onto our website, you can contact us via the website. Our email address is info@theihsanproject.com. You can also message us on WhatsApp, so you can contact us via the website on WhatsApp as well. And really, this is just an encouragement for brothers, sisters, the young brothers and sisters who might be listening, but also the parents who who have young sons and daughters who are looking to go into university, who are looking perhaps to go into apprenticeships, or maybe they are undecided on what they want to do in terms of their careers. Guide them to the Ihsan